Welcome back to my channel, Rockhounds. Today's episode is a little different, pretty much unplanned. I'm on my way to a big mine, iron mine, in my hometown, in Europe, in Poland, in Starachowice. This mine was very active in 50s and 60s. I'll tell you a little more about it when I get to the place. So here we are approaching some structures of the mine. This is the area where narrow truck trains would come in, get loaded with the ore that was first selected in that contraption up there with slanting floor from which gravity would load the trains. It was quite a bit of operation. This is communist times, although mine was started earlier before war. And I tell you a little more about geology when I get on top of that huge hill. Maybe you can see the path leading there. That whole area is climbing up to about 80 feet of waste rock, mostly clay. Tell you a little more about geology over there. But you can see when you build something like this, you have to have some kind of deposit of ore. Let's go up. So here we are. We are on the top of a waste mountain. You can really literally call this mountain. I'm above the tree line. This is, you may say, is going back to my roots. The chain of mountains you can see far in the distance is called Saint Cross Mountains, Góry Świętokrzyskie. That's a Polish pronunciation. This region of Poland is called Old Poland. The history of mining iron in this region dates almost back to prehistoric times, meaning pre-industrial, even medieval times. In fact, by the base of those mountains they found proof of melting this beautiful metal of thousands of years ago. You see here a little bit of buildings of my hometown, and you can say that this is pretty much, this place is pretty much why I became a rockhound, because that was my playground. My house is somewhere behind this red chimney. I'm visiting my parents now in Europe. So being a rockhound, you can't stop thinking of what I can dig for some stuff. So I came back to this forest before I'm gonna fly further to Rome. Climb up this huge heap of clay. It's a waste material. From time to time you can see a conveyor belt sticking out of here, because that was the system how they would drag out the wastes from here. Mountains like this were all over the forest. They were picking out from the trees. They found secondary use. In some companies would make brick out of those, or tiles used for roofing. Anyway, I will take you back down. We're gonna see some buildings. And by the way, on the way up here I found one of the really what is considered waste material, but you can see is the sandstone based material, saturated with organically based deposits of iron. More metamorphized they would become almost like a bent iron formations. These were mostly clay and sandstone formations, creating huge veins of siderite, which of course is hard to find here, but let's see what this reveals inside. Maybe some iron coloring, or maybe not. Oh, it's stubborn. Super hard. There you go. I have some breakage, so it's hard to see, but the iron formations are usually sandwiched between layers of sandstone. Obviously this was considered waste. The siderite would be in a big quantities in veins, which were basically transported by train to the bottom of the city, which is behind that chimney, and would be smelted there. This was one town, big operation. Communist times, volume. More iron we make, more tanks we will build. And that was the approach to mining here. So let's go down and see some constructions, some structures, and see if I can find some better rocks. I am not sure if this is the place, but most likely I remember from my young days, shafts was somewhere here. This looks like a collapse of a underground area, and so is here. Obviously frame would stand here, and the waste material will be taken up at the mountain that was getting taller and taller. So logically the earliest dump would be to the bottom of the mountain, and here in this area where they were basically selecting good ore from waste, so good stuff would go here to the buildings that were selecting buildings and loading. This is not hard rock mining, so there is a lot of collapses through the forest, and in fact even into the city there is some collapses that happening after hundreds of years or dozens of years of workings here. So while I'm going to concentrate and dig a little bit in this suspicious piles leading to the sorting area and then loading. So let's see what we can find. Maybe some interesting crystals or specimens. I was digging a little bit in that vicinity of the shaft, somewhere under that slope, and then I heard this weird noise, and sure enough there's wild pigs. There's so many of them here. I thought there was some rockhounds digging around here, especially on top of the slope, but I heard this distinctive pig noise, and I just made lots of noise to just scare them off, because I don't want to see eye to eye to those guys. In Europe, it's a huge problem. This is a little formation of noodles that were probably mined. I found. I didn't want to sit there because they can come from behind me, those pigs. This is one of the buildings, massively built. As you can see, slanted floor inside. They had to load the material somehow through the top, and then the train would come around, probably through here, get loaded and get to the next building, which I'll show you in a second. I just walked from there to this contraption. So it looks like this is some kind of loading building, and as you can see here, this looks like some kind of one of the last loads that didn't get or spilled over or whatnot. I'm gonna go inside, find when this spills, and see what can I find. Welcome to old mines. Never know what you're gonna get. This is built as strong as nuclear bunker. So old-fashioned rock hounding, closest to the possibility of real ore material. I will dig a little bit here. This is me doing this yesterday because I came here with my parents, my family yesterday, and I was trying to see if it's worth coming back, and I decided to come back. It's a rainy day, we can't do anything else. Let's see what we can find. Walking through my mom's and dad's yard, I found those very distinctive formations of flint from nearby places. This one is a little bit stuck in a tree, but that's how it looks, and that's what happens to it when you when you break it. I'll show you in a second. Okay. So that's a lapidary material, very well known in the neighborhood. In fact, was used by prehistoric people to make tools. You can see it just breaks as good as obsidian, super beautiful and super sharp. This is all different deposit. It's all limestone, almost chalk-like rocks. Maybe when I come back to Europe, I will do some material about this. It's called krzemień pasiasty in Polish, which means bent flint. Usually 2 colors, 3 colors max: brown, black, white, cream, beige, all you can see. And when you find one of those guys, you can cut them and create several beautiful slices. All right, so that's looks like a material for different show altogether. Great stuff. I'm making this quick finishing touch of this video from the mine in my hometown. This is the few examples of concentration of iron around the in a waste rock that I found. A few of them have just a little bit of hematite deposits. Obviously the ore that was the most important was this one here, which is almost looks like an iron bents of iron with a little bit of jasper like hard rock, and few interesting formations of minerals associated with this deposit. Little interesting things. Anyway, this wasn't, I'm not of course taking any of these samples to Canada because they're heavy and I'm flying to Rome. Anyway, I thought I would finish with this view of my childhood yard. Thanks for watching my channel. Everything you see here is hematite based deposit, old iron mine in Poland, Starachowice hometown. And let's just zoom on this interesting guy on the end. There you go. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like if you will, and see you next video.